we did it, Pat. We're going to be surprising people all over the internet that we actually were able to log on.
Yeah. Hello there.
Oh, man. I want to thank our sponsors. Have you got it? Hang on.
No.
No.
Did we drop? Did they drop us?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This morning I lost all my sponsors. It shouldn't be that complicated, but it's just one little mouse click.
Yep.
And there's a little button that says enable autoplay. And I just thought that meant that if it was 3:00, it would automatically start streaming, whether I was hooked up or not. And I was wrong. I checked it off and I made a tragic mistake. So I had to go to the help desk to get some help. So, hey, interesting weekend, Pat. Right this morning we were at 6,347 listings. Right now we're at 6,705.
Yep.
That's a huge jump from Friday morning to Friday afternoon. And I think we're going to be over 7,000 tomorrow.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, you're here talking to people. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to loan officers. I'm seeing emails. I'm seeing, talking to other agents. And the buyer, I mean, there was an article on the home price, how the home prices on Mortgage News Daily, the one site that you and I check out. They said that home prices may be exhausting buyers.
Yeah, it's interesting. I pull up this one called the Housing Bubble blog just to see what this guy has to say, because he's been predicting a crash for a few years. But I actually agree with this article that they have here that says fear of missing out fades into a prevailing sense of wait and see.
Yep.
And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, during the bubble, you hear people got to buy, people got to buy. Hello, Tyler, I made it. He didn't think I'd make it. So I didn't either. So, you have people right now that are just saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to sit this out and wait it out. And the numbers that we're seeing with the Cromford report tell us that if it continues like this, we're going to be in a seller's market with price appreciation until December. So this is telling us we've still got 6 months of steam left in it, even though it's slowing down. So they've got us here at 59.71. And last year at this time, we had 77.10. And we're going to be within 700 units of that, I think, by tomorrow morning, or at least tomorrow afternoon. So
I think it's, I'm seeing, I mean, on my end, we talked about, you're seeing appraisals. I mean, I've had a couple of appraisals come in short, as I think I said the last couple of weeks. I mean, as I mentioned, this one offer 610, the appraisal came in at 485, and then she offered 550. And I just think that I think sellers are overshooting. People, they're seeing rather than 20 or 30 offers, or seeing 5 or 6. They're still seeing offers, but it's not like this. So I mean, it's all human psychology. Everything has got their ebbs and flows, and nothing goes straight up. And we're kind of seeing that little pullback. But I personally think that, like we talked about, I think people, if they're really interested in buying, I think now is the time to, dust yourself off and, get a second wind and see if you can find that opportunity that might, the house has been on the market for 20 or 30 days.
Yeah. It's, Tyler, can I ask, not too personal, do you even own investment properties, rental or the other? No, I don't.
No, I haven't. I've been, I get my house and, I've been playing the stock market, but, I just never really got into the investment side of it, sadly enough, but got my house. And that's,
I mean, I wish I had.
You've owned several.
I had.
It's just everybody's different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine that's got 4 or 5, and he's constantly, I just didn't want it, even with 1 or 2, he's got 4. And he's constantly, it's work, you gotta be mentally prepared to own an investment property. It's not just like buying a stock and holding on to it. And I just, my work has been around financing. To me, that's a 24/7 job. And I don't want to babysit investment properties.
I got a call from an appraiser on Sunday saying, can I go to your listing in 2 hours? And here I am on Friday. We're still waiting for the appraisal. I don't get it. It was
Yeah.
due yesterday. So now we have to extend the closing by at least a day. And it was due yesterday. And they're saying, well, it was way out in Maricopa. Uh, no, it's a,
Yeah.
if we were asking for one in Greer, I'd
Yeah.
understand the delay, but Maricopa is just a spit away from here, not even.
It's a 25-minute drive down. It's not even that. That's what we're seeing. I mean, I'm seeing the biggest problem I've seen in the last 3 to 6 months is appraisals. I mean, appraisers are being nannies about it. Just they're going out, they're charging us. They're taking a special order, charging us $550, but then they get out and they say, oh, the house is a little different. Oh, it's up in surprise. We're going to charge $790. They've been just bumping up the price right away.
Yeah.
They've been.
Well, I don't know what this guy did, but yeah, it's. I think I found the article you were talking about. Home prices may be exhausting buyers.
Yeah. Yep.
So here's my question, Pat. I mean, so we're looking now, and inventory is starting to go up, and there are buyers that still want to buy, and I know that a lot of them feel priced out, but are they really priced out, or are they just worn out because they have to waive appraisals, dig in their checking account for more money to cover that, and they have to have a lot of giveaways like waiving inspections? When that goes away, do you think the buyers will come back? I mean, if we end up with a balanced market, I mean, the buyers still want to have something. I don't think they back out and said, we're going to rent forever. Now, I'd say 30% of them think we're going to have a crash, but some of them are just waiting for something.
I think, like you said earlier, I think you have to, we're going to see a softening. I mean, I'm glad to see all this, like you and I talked about a week or two ago, this appraisal contingency stuff is it's a phase. It's a phase that this market's going through right now. And it's not going to be it's not going to, people get frustrated with it, but it's going to go away because I'm starting to see, like you said, appraisals not hitting. Like I said, the last 3 houses in the last couple of weeks, I've had appraisal issues, with the timing of the appraisal, like you said. That's the biggest thing right now is appraisal. But I get this one deal in Coolidge, offers 360. I guarantee I'd be very surprised if that house came in at 300. And what's going to happen now that the seller has to move on the 30th, they have to close. So we're still waiting for the appraisal, but they're going to get in a position where they're going to have to take the offer that they get for the most part because they're waiting. They're going to be in a position where they can't sit and wait.
Well, I think buyers are going to realize they're not going to have to put in appraisal waivers before sellers come to terms with it.
Yeah. Yep.
Sellers right now are hearing what their neighbors are selling their houses for, and they're seeing it, and they're overpricing, and then it's going to be the real estate agent's fault for a while, and it's going to take a while for the news and the reality to catch up for a seller. Because once you get it in your mind that you can sell your house for this much because everybody else did, it's hard to see a softening going on. And one of our YouTubers this morning is a realtor, and she said that many of their buyers are saying that they think they'll take another run at it in September.
Mm-hmm. I think people don't have to. I think buyers, they shouldn't give up because now it's kind of the game is coming back their way a little bit. Like I said, the supply is increasing. That the forbearances. I mean, just some news on the mortgage side. I don't know. You probably saw this already, but they just got rid of the that adverse market fee that they put on refinances, the 0.5 point refinance fee. They got rid of that this morning. So basically, the FHFA, the Federal Housing Finance Authority, basically said, the forbearances, what we did to counteract all this stuff the last year has helped. We're not going to see this flood. I think they just did it to be a precautionary, and they took the fee away today. It's a 0.5 point. So on a $300,000 refinance, it's $1,500. So it's definitely bring the cost back in line. But that's an indication that hey, the feds are they're saying, okay, maybe we're out of the woods a little bit.
Well, Chase Bank, or was it Chase? I can't remember which bank it was, but they had billions set aside just in case things went south, and now they're just redepositing that out of their reserves and improving their bottom line. One says, I've been seeing many price drops and back on the market. Many from Open Door came down at the same time. Open Door went on a buying spree last month. I think they bought 300 homes, and they're starting to operate on a smaller margin. So, these iBuyers have had like firm price points where they didn't want to go above. Now they have to. And, they're going to find out, just like the rest of us, that the game is changing. The price rollbacks, again, I'm repeating myself, but they're not, the prices of housing are not going down. It's the expectations are starting to hit reality.
Yeah.
The person that thought they could get 600,000 for their home can only get 450. So Open Door, they usually price pretty close, but sometimes it can be easy to buy a home from them. We were looking at one the other day and found out that they had an offer and Open Door countered. So we were able to look at it and go, okay, well, here's what we know. The offer they got was lower than their asking price, and they countered. So they didn't counter at the asking price, right? Mm-hmm. So let's offer them the asking price. You probably stand a pretty good chance of getting it. And I'll be checking my emails because they're supposed to let me know anytime. But rates went down a tad bit.
Yep. Yeah, they've lose. Well, I said the refinance. I mean, you're going to take that adverse market fee away on the refinances, so that's good. I mean, rates have been plodding along. I mean, there's still a lot of. Demand is slowing. The buyers are exhausted. We said inflation is still there. I think it's still running. I mean, lumber prices are coming down. They've come back off about 30% off their highs. So things are moderating a little bit there, but I still think we're going to see inflation. I think it's going to be, that one Steve guy, that bond guy said that, just talking about the inflation and, that rates are going to come back down because there's the smart money is saying, hey, the economy is still going to be slowing. It's still slowing, so we might be in a bit of a stagflation area too. That's the thing.
It's sure feeling like that. It doesn't feel like the economy's getting ready to take off. It feels like we're trying to, but there's too many barriers, and most of the barriers are in other countries that we trade with, and it's tough out there. And Tyler says, watching local TV last night, there were a ton of "I'll buy your house now for cash" commercials. I thought they'd be slacking off during the summer months. They booked those commercials a long time ago and paid for them, and they're still running. And hey, they're still making money. I mean, Open Door bought 300 homes. That's 300 people willing to sell their house at a discount. Yeah.
I mean, I just think people are going to get better value going through an agent because, nothing's, when something sounds too slick to be true, it is too slick to be true. And it's like these free refinances, no cost loan and stuff like that. And you just got to be leery because the fees at Open Door and all these other ones, OfferPad, what they charge. It's like quick.
7.5%, and then they hit you with inspections.
Yep.
But they're also offering, like when I submitted the offer in there, it says, does your buyer need a mortgage? I'm like, I just sent you the prequal. I mean, it's required to send a prequal with an offer. So, I mean, if I uploaded the doc and you saw that they already have financing, why do you have an auto response that said, does your buyer need a mortgage? Okay. No, look here.
No. Yeah. No, I mean, but I think, things are, forbearance, like I said, the forbearances are definitely, we watched that for a year, but that's, I think people just have to change their philosophy. And like you said, this crash that we're seeing we're going to see a slowdown, but we're not seeing a crash.
I think we're seeing people's getting tired.
Yeah.
If you've been out and you've, put 10 bids on houses, you got beat every time. You're going to say, let's just re-up the lease and we'll sit back and wait and see if something happens. And, the average consumer is going to wait and see what happens. And that's what natural market forces do anyway. If something gets too expensive, if it's too expensive to fly, you start driving. And if gas goes way up, you stop taking vacations. And you just have those ebbs and flows all the time. And here we are. I was going to sell my home to OfferPad after all the fees, called a realtor, best decision ever. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's convenient. You can, You can
Yeah,
get
but as a
cash out
convenience,
pretty quick.
but if you're talking, $400,000, $500,000 home, you could be correct. You know more better experience than I do, but what would be the difference between probably talking 10, 15, $20,000 difference.
Yeah, there's no doubt, because first of all, they're not going to pay you full retail because they have to
Yeah.
make some margin.
They're professional flippers. They're professional flippers.
Yeah, yeah. The they hitch in repairs too. They don't want you to repair anything. They just go, we inspected it, and in lieu of repairs, we'd like to see, $5,000 credit at close of escrow.
Yeah. Well, people have to realize that Open Door and OfferPad and all these companies, the only way they make money is if they buy something at a discount.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if you're not, a realtor, they get their commission, but they're not. The more you sell a house for, they're kind of, it's opposite. The more they sell the house for, the more.
The funny thing is, they're not making any money now, Pat. They're losing their shirts.
Oh, I know.
This is average cumulative days on market. It's finally creeped up just a little bit. So the signs of things changing are so subtle. If you look at our one here, which is our 7-day moving average, where the blue line is new listings that come up over 7 days, and then the yellow one is under contract. This is 4th of July, so we came out of it. So listings kind of took a little bit of a dip coming on board in the past 7 days, although they spiked today. This is going to look wildly different next week. And it's going to be interesting to see where this yellow line goes. I saw some statistics too that I was looking at that said that total sales were down 28%. It was on Redfin. But then I looked and said, yeah, well, listings were down 28%. So, so our sales down just because they were down because they couldn't find anything.
Yeah. I think, the average person, what I'm seeing, I'm just kind of going through my head here. How I get random thoughts that go through my head. People have to, I think the information that we're providing people, our millions of viewers, is that, it's basically unbiased information, because the news wants to sell. They're just going to hit you with, people read headlines and like, oh, home sales, falling, or, home sales are falling, or, are we in for a crash? I mean, they're going to see the topics, but you look at the information behind us, like the chart you just pulled up, and the charts that we've been following the last year. I mean, things are still going to be strong, even though. And I think people, once again, I think my advice to people is, if you're really serious about buying a home, now is just to kind of get refreshed and go back out there and see if you can find something. You're going to probably see an opportunity now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're waiting for foreclosures, well, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
These are pending foreclosures down here, the very bottom line.
Yeah.
You got a long wait. So listings are going up, but foreclosures are not showing up. I think, just based on what I'm seeing out there now, there could be some financial pressures. I think Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong. I think, was it you yesterday that said, I think, we might have some trouble. And I said, tell me what the catalyst is. And you said, a financial collapse. That's possible. I mean, we're so far out of whack on government spending and programs, and that is not sustainable. You're worried about house prices. Look, pay attention to what Congress is trying to spend, folks. I don't care, Democrat or Republican, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Free college now. California is going to be the first state to pass UBI, Universal Basic Income. Explain that math to me. And Tyler says, it was Tyler, but not this Tyler. There's more than one. Thanks. So yeah, there could be some real problems out there. And then you get into this big global discussion that says, well, if we have a real financial collapse and you own a home, what if they come out and offer mark to market like they were talking about in 2008? You remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So your house, you bought it, you paid $400,000. Now it's only worth $200,000. rather than wait to dig out of it, they just reset everything. And now your mortgage is 200,000 instead of 400,000. Just hang in there, keep going.
Yeah. That would be the scary part if the government really got involved. I saw there's an article too that how the government is talking about. I don't know. I didn't read into it, but they're talking about how the government is going to. Where was it? Gosh darn it! They were talking about the government coming in to try to work with the affordable housing. The government can't do anything there. That's the market forces.
Yeah, the testimony of Chairman Powell yesterday, I watched some of it, and they don't really ask questions. They just kind of stand on their soapbox a little bit. Senator Warren asked him something, and he goes, yeah, we haven't done that, but here's what we are. And she goes, nope, that's not what I asked. She didn't want to hear what he was doing.
Yeah.
And Powell is just, at one point, he looked at these guys when they started talking about fair housing and this and that and all that stuff. He looked at it and he goes, that's your job. He goes, that's not my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
My job is monetary policy. If you in Congress, whatever rules you write, we follow, but that's not my job.
Yeah.
And he had to say that over and over and over again. But he also has hinted that, they're talking about when they're going to taper off of mortgage-backed securities and treasuries, but it didn't spook the bond market.
No, the bond market's been really it's been quiet. I mean, inflation numbers came out the other day, and we were pushing over 5%. Just the PCE, the personal consumption expenditure PCE, the CPI. They're all running hot, and the market's just kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, it should have. In a real market, that's why it just is kind of strange. I mean, that's why it just blows my mind because the market indicators are not. They're not acting like they should be.
It's easy to understand. I'm kind of on the transitory side right now on inflation because when you look at the things where prices have gone up, it's a supply side issue.
Yeah.
Talking to a guy last night. He's having a house built. I said, when's it going to be completed? He goes, in a year.
Yeah.
In a year. And swimming pools taking a year.
Appliances.
So, you name it. You can't get it. And they, Los Angeles had the most traffic in shipments in their port in the history of tracking shipments. But the interesting thing was the majority of the ships that are going back to Asia are going over with empty containers because they have a severe container shortage over there. So we're getting stuff from them, and then we're sending them empty containers. So until they get that container inventory built up, we're going to have the supply side issue.
Yep.
Talked to a guy yesterday too. I stopped in a place up on Northern 12th. It's called 1227, kind of a craft beer place. And this guy's building his own little brewery somewhere up on 32nd. And he was talking about how everything he's ordering is on back order. And he says he's got some kind of equipment that he needs from China. And it's going to take weeks and weeks to get it. And he said, in the meantime, his application that he sent in for his brewery license got approved. And evidently, once you're approved for that, you have to be open by a certain period of time. And he said, so they went really fast on that, but I can't get the stuff to start making my beer. So,
well, it's like it goes back to the analogy is that the appraisers are in hot demand, and that supply stuff is going to translate into higher prices because now they can charge, rather than $500 is okay. You want it bad, we're going to charge you $1,000.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up our average closings over list price here again. I'm trying to see if there's anything that's changing, and it's pretty much stuck on 60. 60% of the homes are still going over the asking price. And this is a 30-day running average too. So, and the hardest hit price zone is between 300 and 400,000. But here's an interesting thing to do. What if I change the dwellings to condos? Okay. Mm-hmm. And get away from the all button. You can see it drops by 10% and it came down a little bit. It's 50% now. And While you look at 250 to 300,000 on a condo, 57.9% are going over list, but they're going over list at a much smaller amount than single family housing. So look at this, between 300 and 400,000, the average over list is 11 grand. So let me just look at single family for a minute, and I'll take out condo. That shows 300, 400,000, 20 grand. So 9 grand difference there.
Yeah.
So they're not massively overbidding in the condominium market. And the only other thing I can look on here is mobile homes, and that would be very boring. But so the condo market sales are starting to slow. I checked inventory yesterday, and the rate of inventory of condos coming on the market versus single family are the same. So we're not getting more condo listings than we are single family. So they're both marching along at the same clip. So
interesting. Well, the condo market's always a different, separate market. You know, it's first to go down and last to go up, as we always say. But you know, it's just the main. I was driving around Queen Creek the other day. It's still amazing the plots of land that they're just I was just blown away. I haven't been down there a couple months, but you know, there's one plot of land. I don't know how many homes are going in there, but there had to be probably 25 or 30 plus of those big dirt moving machines. You know, they're going to throw another big subdivision in there. It's just the activity is. I mean, there's several plots of land in Queen Creek in that, you know, that Santan area that I was looking at. I'm like, here we go. They're just going to throw another 150, 200 homes, or whatever, into this area.
What I don't like that I'm seeing is the density. The homes that they're putting right along the 202, right up to the 202, and they're these big homes that are just one right after another, and you've barely got room to walk between the houses.
I know, it's terrible. The lot lines are terrible.
Yeah. I hope that goes away, but it tends to always happen during a really brisk market. You know, let's put 40 houses here instead of 10. So
Exactly.
Up the street from me, there's a development that looks like it'll hold 4 houses, and I swear to God, they have 12.
Really?
They built up.
Yeah. Well, I just my point. The reason I'm bringing that up is that I just, you know, the demand's been brisk. I mean, I just, like you said, if people you're looking to buy. I mean, I think the next couple months things are, you know, tapering off a little bit. Just keep plugging away. I mean, I've seen the people that have been the most successful are the ones that are just persistent as hell. You know, they just keep, you know, putting an offer in. They'll get something. They'll pop up. Something will pop up.
Yeah, stay within your budget. There's no reason to panic and walk outside your budget. You just have to be patient and wait because I can go through and I can pull up listings on here and show you that they went for their asking price.
Yep. Yeah.
And they're out there. They're sure 60% of them are going above the asking price, but 40% aren't. And if you don't mind a little bit of paint, don't compromise on your floor plan and the amenities you want. But you know, sometimes people just don't know how to show a home, and it's going to sit there. And so you've got to look past that. And so it's an interesting market to be in because people are backing off, going, I can't get it. And then you look at the data and you go, wait a minute, these all went for between 300 and 400,000. They all went exactly for their asking price.
Well, like you said, I mean, a lot of times you see the flurry of the 20, 30, the 20 offers like this, like you said. Once again, you know, the house that went for 610 offer appraised for 45, they settled for 550 or 535, 50,000 over. But like I said, once you get toward the end, the next couple of weeks, appraisal comes in, the seller, I'm starting to really see a psychological change with the sellers. They're like, okay, I got to move. I'm looking to buy this other house. I'm not going to be making, you know, the 100 or the 250,000. I'm only going to make 200,000 on this house. Let's just cut it and go. I mean, that's why I'm seeing sellers kind of give in, and they, you know, if they've got the right wording in the contract, like this one contract says, well, if it doesn't come in, this one realtor said, we'll just renegotiate. That's all she had. So she didn't say over what price. They said both the buyer and seller can renegotiate the price. So, and I know this appraisal is not going to come in. They're going to be drastically lower. So the seller's going to be stuck, and they're going to say, okay, let's just go.
I think if I was a buyer right now, I would go ahead and stop writing offers with the appraisal gap language.
Yeah.
I just don't because you know you're going to be there by September anyway. So start now, write your offers. Don't put in the appraisal gap language. If you don't get the offer, que sera, just move on to the next house because it's coming. It's coming where that's going to go away. Home prices are still going to go up between now and December. It's impossible for them to drop because the gap between the number of buyers that we have and the number of homes available is still too big. But it's shrinking, and it's shrinking at 400 to 550 a week. That gap is actually growing by 450, 500 a week. So your simple math tells you that, we're going to be looking at a more balanced market by the holidays, and probably a real sweet spot in September where a seller can sell, get what they want, and I don't mean shoot for the moon, but, get a reasonable price for your house, especially when you compare it to last year. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. And you're going to see more homes on the market. And for you buyers, you're going to be able to offer close to the asking price and waive don't waive appraisals. So we may hit a sweet spot. And then the thing to watch is if it really starts to get balanced, like it's happening in the rest of the country. Redfin says that inventory right now is at 2019 levels on average in the United States. And we're nowhere near that.
No,
we're not anywhere near, or they said pre-pandemic levels. We're not even close. So
interesting.
It's if I look at it again here, pre-pandemic levels mean we'd be here, 13,000.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Okay. And we're not, we're at 6. So, but nationally, people are, according to Redfin's data, we're right there pre-pandemic, or maybe here, there's March. So inventory went right up at March, and then boom, everybody says, I got to get a house, get me out of here. Yep. So if you look out to September, and I'm going to put September right about, I think September's like week 39, 40. I'm going to put us right here. And that's going to be at about 9,500, 10,000 homes. That's going to stop the bidding. Not the bidding. It's going to stop the appraisal waivers.
Yeah, appraisal. Yeah, the craziness.
So as a buyer, load your gun. Get ready to go in September, October. Good time. It's not 115 degrees there. I think if you're waiting, then sit this out and see what happens right there, because it's still a battle right here. Sellers, it doesn't get any better than it is right now, except it was really good back here. But it's not bad here. No. You get up there, it's going to be slightly softer. But if you're selling and want to buy something, then you're going to have the same sweet spot.
The beauty of video is we can go back and review this about in September and see if you're right.
Yeah. Or I could say, I don't know, Pat, that I remember doing that, but it just magically disappeared in case we were way off. Do you ever think we'll get back to late 2020 prices? Because I don't see it. Late 2020, no. I mean, that takes a major pullback. So that, for prices to go down, then inventory has to be enormously higher than the buyer traffic. So what we've been tracking all year is like 4,000 on, 4,000 off, right? Week after week. And we talked and said, this has got to be the most boring YouTube video ever. Because it's like, hey, we had 4,000 come on and 4,000 come off. Well, now we've got, we got something like, let me look here. Go to my chart. We have a new listings at 4227 and only 3788 going to contract. Now, what if new listings for a 7-day moving average ended up at 15,000 units and our buyer traffic was about the same at 38? Then you'll have price reductions. So until that disparity shows up, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Unless there's a financial hiccup.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, like you said, we'll see back in September, see if you're right. So.
Yeah, we'll do that. So everybody stay tuned and save this video in your archives. Put a little favorite icon on when you save it. And but be sure and subscribe too, because I do the morning live stream every morning at 8:30. And Monday through Thursday, and then we gather on here at Friday at 3 o'clock. And don't forget to ask about the possibility of getting $1,200 in closing cost credits from us if you want to buy or sell. And all of my YouTube subscribers that I've bought homes for this year and sold have taken advantage of that, Pat. So
Yep.
it's a good thing. In fact, the last one that we had, they used my seller credit to buy a home warranty and had to use the home warranty.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So, yeah, so it's cool. So, well, have a super weekend,
Yep.
and I will be back maybe tomorrow, but probably most likely on Monday. So,
No, I won't be back. I'll be gone for, I'm going to be up great state of, Wisconsin, way up north by Lake Superior next Friday. So,
oh, okay. All right. So I'll swing the bat by myself.
yeah. So just don't, I know there's my chairs can be hard to fill.
Well, like I used to say at sales meetings, if a manager was on vacation and he wasn't there at the meeting, I'd say, that's okay. Just know we're going to talk about you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, buddy.
Okay. Have a good one. See ya.
Yep. Have a good weekend. Thank you.